Alright, I picked up this new 350QX from Blade today. This is their new quadcopter, and this thing has a lot more features than the previous quadcopters and really anything that's come from Blade in the past. As you can see on the box there, it has these different modes. It has smart mode, stability mode, agility mode, and return to home. It has a GPS in it so it knows where it is, and it has an altimeter, barometer style, so that it knows its height. And it comes with a mount for your GoPro camera, and I'm sure that we're going to be able to modify this to work with other cameras. But let's get into the box and see what it comes with. I got the bind and fly version, so it doesn't come with a radio. Alright, there we go. As with all Blade products, you get the manual first. That's the first thing on the top of the box. There's some other things in here. It looks like some Allen wrenches in the little bag here, and supplemental instruction. So again, you have a basic manual here. These manuals are pretty good, but it's not very long, and it's in 4 languages: English, German, French, and Italian again. So they have not added Spanish yet. The manual just goes through the basic stuff, how to charge your battery. It does have radio setups in here. So it has radio setups for how to program your radio. DX4, DX5, DX6i, DX7, DX7S, DX8, and DX18. I have a 9503, so I'm going to try to figure out how to use that. Tells you how to set up the flight battery. Here's the instructions on installing the camera mount, how to bind it. The flight modes, talks about the flight modes, talks about how to fly, how to set everything up. And I think it would be a good idea for people, even if you're familiar with quads. I think you should read this, because this quad does not really fly like some of the ones you're used to. I've got a couple of quads like with a KK board, and I've got an MQX, and I've got an APM copter and some other stuff, and everything is just kind of a little different on this one. So depending on what flight mode you're in, like altitude hold, it doesn't really work the same way that you might expect. So I would highly suggest reading this manual to make sure that everything that you're doing is working right. And we'll get into that more on the flight video, but let's just show what's in the box here. Again, I got the bind and fly version, so it doesn't come with a radio, but normally there would be, on RTF there's a DX5 that would be here. But there's the copter. It's packed nicely in there, and it obviously will fit back in the box, so we can carry it around with the box. Everything that you need is off to the sides here. So here's the little camera mount, and it has rubber pieces that we need also, and those are right there. There's the rubber pieces for the camera mount. This is in here kind of tight, but this is the GoPro frame if you just want to use a plain old frame. Now I'm probably going to just use the GoPro mounts that I have, but you can use that with it. It does come with 1 battery. I've got a bunch of these 2200s. It's great that they use this size, because this is the most common size of battery, so I've got like 40 of these suckers. I use them on all kinds of different stuff. It does have one of these chargers. Here's a 3S Lipo Charger, and it has the leads for 12-volt batteries on it, so you're going to have to use a car battery or something to use this charger. But you can obviously charge the battery with any charger you want. This one's Pretty simple to use. Switches from 2-cell to 3-cell, so make sure you have it over to the right. You can control the charge rate a little bit here. So here's the copter itself. Now it's not tied down with anything, but it is just sitting in the box there. And you know, this is a pretty nice quadcopter. I like the way that it's laid out. One thing I've always kind of hated about quadcopters is that a lot of times they got wires hanging out and everything. And this one is really nice. Everything is packaged up. There's nothing really, no electronics sticking out. Now there is down in the leg here, there's the compass. So there's some wire going down there, but it's nicely hidden. I like how it's put together. It's a sleek looking thing. Like everybody's been saying, it does look a lot like a DJI Phantom or an Apollo. People have already kind of started calling this copter the Frog. It is roughly frog shaped. So, but I like the way it looks. Everything's nicely buttoned up. This is how I would build a quad if I had the choice to build it whatever way I wanted. Nice views like this. So there's the battery compartment there, and it just pops open like that. And you have your battery connection here. I'll be putting a Dean's plug on there, but there's your Velcro loop in there to hold it down. But there it is. There's not really much you can see on this thing that I can explain a lot about, but you know, there's the brushless motor, the kind of weird propeller mount. People kind of complain about this. Mounts with 2 screws. It's kind of different. Obviously the landing gear is pretty nice. These are not connected, so that might help make it a little stronger, but I don't know if you'd want it any stronger. Flexible is good. On the back there's your status LED, and this is going to show you the various flight modes when you're flying. And then there's the on-off switch, which is nice because plugging the batteries in, you got to get into the mix with these props. And a lot of people have injured themselves plugging the battery in and having the prop start and hit them. On these screws for the camera mount, my suggestion is to put a little CA on the screw, and then when you screw it in, don't really tighten it really tight. All you need to do with CA is just snug it up until it starts to, until you start to get a little resistance, and then it's fine. It's going to be real easy to strip these screw holes if you get these too tight, and they really don't need to be tight to stay in. This is something that people have mentioned online. It's not really a problem, but yeah, the legs are scratched up like somebody flew this on concrete already, and this is going to happen to it anyway. But it's interesting that, maybe they really are testing these at the factory. But I don't think it's anything to worry about. Several people on the forums have mentioned this. I don't think it's a problem. We'll start it right before that line. So when we do the return to home, we can see how accurate it is. But yeah, it's basically you have to wait for it to stop blinking like that, and it shows you that you got GPS lock. So see the LED on the back?
Yeah, I see it.
A shot of that. It blinks for a little while, and as soon as it has GPS lock, it goes solid. So there we go. Now it has GPS lock, so you can, I'm going to switch it to smart mode, which is green, and I'll fly in smart mode. And as soon as you arm it, the props start spinning, which is a little weird. Yeah, you basically just go left and right on the rotor stick, and the props will arm. And then with smart mode, you can just move the throttle up to some position, and it'll take off, hold position, take off straight up.
Oh, okay.
So if I move the throttle immediately up to half, it will take off to half of its smart mode altitude. So that's how high it wants to go with like half stick. So if I just push stick forward, it goes away from us.
Uh-huh.
And that's as fast as it goes. If I push the stick, you know, all the way to the left, it goes to the left. And it will get closer to you because it's going in a circle here. See how it came back over the runway?
Yeah, I see it.
So that's one thing about flying in smart mode you kind of have to get used to, is left and right makes a circle around you. Or around the home position. But yeah, let's see, if we lower it down to a little lower altitude here, we can see how the safe circle works. So if I bring it back and let it fly at full speed, it should stop just about where it was.
It does, yeah.
Just right over, and I'm still holding the stick back. It will not come any closer than that.
Oh, okay.
So that's the safe circle. I don't know how valuable that is though, because like if you run into yourself at this speed,
yeah,
you pretty much deserve it. But that's about as fast as it'll go in smart mode. So it's very easy to fly. And as soon as you let go of the sticks, it goes into GPS lock. So right there, it's in GPS lock, and I can go up and down. You know, I can move the stick up and it'll go up to that height, wherever it is. And it stays in that same vertical location. So it's using the GPS there to basically just go straight up and down.
Cool.
To the altitude that I selected with the stick. So that's a lot of fun, because you can do things like, while you're panning, you can move away.
Oh, yeah.
So it's easy to control it while you're spinning around and stuff. And you know, the nice thing about this one is, if you ever get confused or messed up, you just click the return to home and it will fly back and land. Now I could turn off the return to home and get back control of it.
It's now blinking red, by the way.
Yeah, blinking red means it's in return to home mode. So let's see if it lands on the right spot. It's pretty close. It's not exact though.
It's like half a meter off.
Not bad. Yeah. And that's one of the better auto landings that I've had. So stability mode is like flying a regular self-leveling quad. So you know, you push the stick forward, it goes to a certain angle. You let go of the stick, it levels itself out again.
Okay.
And in this mode, forward is always forward relative to the way the quad's pointing. So you can fly a little bit better, you know, flights that way. But it doesn't have altitude hold or anything like that in this mode.
Okay.
It just flies like a normal quad.
Can you turn the self-leveling off too?
You can turn it to agility mode. But I cannot really fly it in agility mode very well.
Why is that?
It's super agile. That's half stick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I can fly it this way, but I'm just using real small stick movements here.
Right.
And
You can put some expo on it or something, right?
Yeah, I have a little expo. What I need to do is put a little more in that mode. And on my radio, the way it's set up, I can't go from agility mode to return to home I have to switch to like stabilize first. Then I can use return to home.
Right.
So it's a little confusing, but yeah, landing in stability mode is easy. Just set it down, click the throttle hold.
That's what you have, yeah.
Yeah, this quad's a little weird because the props spin whenever it's armed. You have to use the throttle cut feature to turn off the props.